My girlfriend showed up unannounced, already angry. She demanded answers I hadn't offered. I didn't argue, didn't deny anything. "Go on," I said. She kept talking, too confidently. Then she referenced something I'd never shared with anyone. The air in the room changed instantly. "I'm 36, and I've been in a relationship for about 2 years. My girlfriend and I met through mutual friends, hit it off pretty quickly, moved in together after about 10 months. Things were good at first. Normal relationship stuff, date nights, arguments about whose turn it was to do dishes, weekend trips, the usual. But over the past few months, I'd noticed her becoming increasingly suspicious, asking where I'd been, who I was texting, why I came home 15 minutes later than expected. I'm not a cheater, never have been. But she'd convinced herself I was hiding something, and no amount of reassurance seemed to help. I figured it was insecurity, maybe something from a past relationship. I tried to be patient, tried to be understanding, gave her my phone password, told her she could check at any time. That seemed to calm things for a while. Then last Tuesday happened. I was working from home, typical day. Had a few video calls, answered emails, the standard routine. Around 3 in the afternoon, I heard a key in the door. My girlfriend wasn't supposed to be home until 6. She worked across town, and her schedule was pretty predictable. She walked in, and I immediately knew something was wrong. Her face was flushed, jaw tight, eyes hard. She dropped her bag on the floor and just stood there staring at me. "Hey," I said, "everything okay? You're home early." "We need to talk." Those 4 words. Never good. I closed my laptop. "Okay. What's going on?" "I know what you've been doing." My stomach dropped, not because I was guilty of anything, but because I knew this conversation was going to be exhausting. "What have I been doing?" "Don't play dumb. I know about her." "About who?" "The woman you've been seeing, the one you've been sneaking around with." I sat back in my chair. "I'm not seeing anyone. We've been over this." "Stop lying! I have proof!" "What proof?" She pulled out her phone, started scrolling furiously. "I've been watching. I've been paying attention. The late nights, the mysterious phone calls, the way you've been distant. I've been working. We talked about this. I got assigned that new project, and it's been demanding. That's what you want me to believe." I didn't argue. Didn't deny anything more than I already had. Just said, "Go on?" She seemed surprised by that response, like she'd been expecting me to get defensive. "What?" I said, "Go on. You have proof. Show me." She kept talking, and she was too confident about it. Way too confident. Started listing things, times I'd supposedly been places I wasn't, conversations I'd allegedly had, dates and locations and specific details. "Last Thursday you told me you were working late, but you left the office at 5:30 and didn't get home until 9. Where were you?" "I went to the gym, then stopped at the store. I told you that." "You're lying. You were with her." "Who is her exactly? You keep saying that, but you haven't told me who I'm supposedly cheating with." "Your coworker, the one in accounting." I didn't even know who she was talking about. "We had a big office." "I don't know who you mean." "Yes, you do. Don't play games." Then she said something that made everything click into place. 2 weeks ago, on the 16th, you had coffee with her at that place near the park, the one with the blue awning. You sat outside for 45 minutes. I'd never been to any coffee shop near any park on the 16th, hadn't had coffee with anyone from work in weeks. But more importantly, I'd never told her about any coffee shop with a blue awning. Never mentioned it. Never been there. The air in the room changed instantly. "How do you know about that coffee shop?" I asked quietly. "Because She stopped, realized her mistake. "You what?" "I saw you." "No, you didn't. Because I wasn't there. So how do you know about a blue awning?" She went pale. "I must have seen it when I drove by." "You don't drive by any park on your way to or from work, and you just described a very specific detail about a place I've never been." So I'll ask again. How do you know about it? Update 1. She tried to backtrack, said she must have been confused, mixed up the dates, maybe it was somewhere else. But I'd caught it. That slip. That specific detail she couldn't have known unless someone told her. Who have you been talking to? I asked. Nobody. I don't know what you're talking about. You just described a place I've never been and accused me of meeting someone there. Someone's been feeding you information. Who? No one's feeding me anything. Then where did this come from? The coffee shop with the blue awning, the specific date, the time I was supposedly there. Where did you get those details? She was trapped, and she knew it. I watched her try to figure out what to say, how to explain. Finally, she sat down on the couch and put her face in her hands. I hired someone. You hired someone? Like a private investigator? Not exactly. More like someone who does online research. You hired someone to investigate me. I needed to know. You've been acting so strange and distant, and I just needed to know. So you paid someone to follow me? To track my movements? Not follow you, just look into things. Check your social media, your location history, piece things together. My location history. How did they access my location history? She didn't answer. Did you give them access to my accounts? Still nothing. You gave someone my passwords, someone I don't know. You gave them access to my personal accounts. I had to know. So you violated my privacy, paid a stranger to stalk me, and then came here to accuse me based on information that's completely wrong. It's not wrong. They said you were at that coffee shop. I wasn't. Which means either they're lying to you or they followed someone else or they made the whole thing up. But I wasn't there. I've never been there. She pulled up something on her phone, showed me a report. It was detailed, dates, times, locations, a whole timeline of my supposed movements over the past month. Some of it was accurate, places I'd actually been, but mixed in were locations I'd never visited. The coffee shop was just one. Where did this come from? A service. I found it online. They track people, put together reports. How much did you pay for this? That doesn't matter. How much? $800. I just stared at her. You paid $800 for fake information so you could accuse me of cheating. It's not fake. Yes, it is. Look at this. I pointed at the timeline. This says on the 19th, I was at a bar downtown at 11 p.m. I was home with you. We watched that documentary about penguins. Remember? She looked at the date. Maybe they got the date wrong. Or maybe they're scamming people, making up locations and selling fake reports to suspicious partners. She scrolled through the report, and I watched her face change as she started recognizing more discrepancies. Dates that didn't match, places I'd been with her that were listed as solo visits, times that didn't align with reality. Oh my God, she whispered. Yeah, I was so sure. Sure of what? That I was cheating? Based on what? I've never given you a reason to think that. You've been distant. I've been busy with work. I told you that project was going to be intense. You don't text me as much during the day. Because I'm working, in back-to-back meetings most days. You seem distracted. Because I'm tired. Because work has been stressful. Not because I'm having an affair. Update 2. She started crying, full breakdown, saying she was sorry, she'd made a mistake, she'd let her insecurity get the better of her. I sat there watching, feeling a mix of anger and something else I couldn't quite name. Who else knows about this? I asked. What? This report. This investigation. Who else have you shown it to? No one. You're sure? Well, I told my sister about it, and my best friend. I needed advice. So your sister and your best friend both think I'm a cheater now? No, I can tell them it was a mistake. They'll still know. They'll always wonder. Every time they see me, they'll remember that you accused me of this. I'll explain everything. And you gave someone I don't know access to my personal accounts, my location data, my private information. Who knows what else they have access to now? That hit her. Oh God, I didn't think about that. No, you didn't think. You just acted on paranoia, and now my privacy is completely compromised. I got up, grabbed my laptop, started changing all my passwords. Email, social media, bank accounts, everything. She sat on the couch watching me, still crying. I'm so sorry, she kept saying. I'll fix this, I'll make it right. How? How do you fix this? I don't know. Just tell me what to do. I need space. I need to think. Are you breaking up with me? I don't know. Right now, I'm just trying to process the fact that you hired someone to investigate me, gave them my personal information, believed a fake report, and came here ready to accuse me of something I didn't do. I was scared. I thought I was losing you. So you decided to push me away instead? I spent the next 2 hours changing passwords, checking account activity, making sure nothing had been compromised. Found some strange login attempts on my email from an IP address I didn't recognize. Reset everything. Set up 2-factor authentication on accounts that didn't have it. She stayed on the couch the whole time, watching me, occasionally trying to apologize again. I didn't respond. I was too angry to talk without saying something I'd regret. Around 6, I told her I was going to stay with a friend for a few days. Needed space to think. She asked which friend. I didn't tell her. I didn't trust her with that information anymore. I packed a bag while she sat in the bedroom doorway. Please don't go, she said. I need to think. Alone. But we can work through this. Maybe. But not right now. I left, stayed with my brother across town. He asked what happened. I gave him the short version. He just shook his head and said, "That's insane." Update 3. I stayed away for 4 days. My girlfriend texted constantly, apologizing, begging me to come home, saying she'd called the service and demanded her money back. They'd refused, said their report was accurate and they stood by their work. She'd threatened to report them for fraud. They'd threatened to sue her for defamation. She'd created a whole mess. On day 3, she sent me a long email, explained how the insecurity had started, how her ex had cheated on her with a coworker and she'd never fully healed from it. How when I started working longer hours, all those old fears came back. How she'd convinced herself history was repeating. How she'd found this service online and thought it would either confirm her fears or put them to rest. Instead, it had destroyed our relationship. I read the email 3 times. Part of me understood where she was coming from. Trauma makes people do irrational things. But another part of me couldn't get past the violation. She'd given a stranger access to my private life. She'd paid money to have me followed, or thought she was paying for that. She'd believed fake information over my word. On day 5, I agreed to meet her for coffee. Neutral ground, public place. She showed up looking exhausted. Probably hadn't been sleeping much. "Thank you for meeting me," she said. "I said I'd hear you out. I know I messed up. I know sorry isn't enough, but I want to fix this if you'll let me." "How do you fix broken trust?" "I don't know. Therapy, couples counseling, whatever it takes. The issue isn't just that you didn't trust me. It's that you actively worked to find evidence against me. And when you couldn't find real evidence, you paid for fake evidence instead. I didn't know it was fake. But you didn't verify it either. You just believed it, took it as fact, came to our home ready to accuse me without even checking if any of it was true. She didn't have an answer for that. And you told people, your sister, your best friend, they think I'm a cheater. That's out there now. I'll tell them the truth. Will you? Will you tell them you hired someone to investigate me, that you paid for a fake report, that you violated my privacy, or will you just say it was a misunderstanding? I'll tell them everything. I don't believe you. That hurt her. I could see it in her face. But it was true. I didn't believe her, didn't trust her, didn't know if I ever could again. What do you want me to do? She asked. Just tell me. I'll do anything. I don't know what I want. That's the problem. I don't know if this is fixable. We talked for another hour. She offered to move out, give me space, offered to pay for therapy, offered to sign something saying she'd never do anything like this again. Kept offering solutions like there was some magic fix that would make everything okay. But there wasn't. The damage was done. The trust was gone. And I didn't know if it was coming back. Update 4. I moved back home after a week, but things were different. We were polite to each other, careful, like roommates who didn't quite get along. She'd moved some of her things into the guest room, said she didn't want to pressure me by sharing the bed. I appreciated that, but it also made everything feel more real, more broken. She'd started therapy, individual therapy with someone who specialized in anxiety and relationship trauma. She'd show me appointment confirmations like she was proving she was trying. I guess she was, but every time I looked at her, I remembered that moment. That slip when she mentioned the coffee shop. The realization that she'd been lying about how she knew things. The betrayal of finding out she'd hired someone. 2 weeks after I moved back, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. Is this my name? Yes. Who's this? I'm calling from the service your partner used to investigate you. We're conducting customer service follow-up. I hung up immediately. They called back. I didn't answer. They left a voicemail saying they wanted to clear up any misunderstandings and ensure customer satisfaction. I played the voicemail for my girlfriend when she got home. Why are they calling me? I don't know. I gave them your number, not mine. Then how did they get it? She went pale. I might have filled out a form with both our information. I don't remember exactly what I put down. So now they have my phone number, my name, probably my address since you gave them that too. Great. Perfect. I'll call them. Tell them to delete everything. She called. They wouldn't answer. She left 3 voicemails. Never got a call back. I looked up the service online, found a website but no real company information, no physical address, no real customer reviews, just a professional-looking site with vague promises about relationship verification services. Started digging deeper. Found a few forum posts from people saying they'd been scammed, paid for reports that were completely fabricated. One person said they'd demanded a refund and the company had threatened to release their personal information publicly. I showed my girlfriend. She read through the posts and started crying again. What did I do? She kept saying. What did I do? You trusted the wrong people because you didn't trust me. I'm so sorry. I know you are, but sorry doesn't fix this. Update 5. 3 weeks after everything came out, I made a decision. I couldn't do it anymore. Couldn't live in this state of broken trust and constant tension. Couldn't look at her without remembering the betrayal. Couldn't move forward, couldn't heal, couldn't get past it. I told her I wanted to end things, wanted her to move out. We'd break the lease, figure out the finances, go our separate ways. She begged, cried, asked for more time, said she was making progress in therapy, said things could get better, said she loved me and didn't want to lose me. But I was already gone, had been gone since that Tuesday afternoon when she walked in accusing me of things I hadn't done based on information she'd bought from strangers. She moved out 2 weeks later, stayed with her sister while she looked for a place. We split everything down the middle, no fighting, no drama. Just a sad, quiet dissolution of 2 years together. Her sister sent me a message afterward. Said my girlfriend had told her everything, the investigation, the fake report, all of it. Said she understood why I'd ended things, but hoped I knew her sister really did love me and was genuinely sorry. I thanked her for reaching out but didn't say much else. There wasn't much to say. Final update. It's been 4 months since the breakup. I'm living alone now, got a smaller apartment closer to work. My ex has reached out a few times, checking in, asking how I am. I keep the responses brief but not cold. No point being cruel. I heard through mutual friends that she's still in therapy, working through her trust issues. That she's dating again, but taking it slow. That she's told the story of what happened as a cautionary tale to other friends going through similar insecurity spirals. I hope she's learned from it. Hope she doesn't put the next person through what she put me through. As for me, I'm doing okay. Better than I expected. The anger has mostly faded. What's left is just sadness. Sadness that something that started good ended so badly. Sadness that insecurity and mistrust can destroy a relationship faster than actual infidelity. I think about that moment sometimes. When she mentioned the coffee shop with the blue awning. How confident she was. How sure. How completely wrong. That split second when I realized she'd been lying about how she knew things. That someone else was feeding her information. That she'd believed strangers over me. That's when it ended, really. Not when I moved out, or when she moved out, or when we signed the paperwork. It ended right there, in that instant, when I realized the person I'd built a life with trusted me so little she'd paid people to prove her suspicions. The worst part is, she was right to be suspicious. Not about me cheating, I never did that, but about something being wrong in our relationship. Something was wrong. The trust was already broken, long before she hired that service. She just broke it from her end while trying to prove I'd broken it from mine. I'm 36 years old. I'm single. I'm living in a new apartment trying to figure out what comes next. And I've learned that sometimes the person you're in a relationship with is your biggest threat to that relationship. Not because of what they do, but because of what they believe you're doing. My girlfriend showed up unannounced that Tuesday, already angry, demanding answers I hadn't offered. She had a whole story built in her head, supported by fake evidence she'd paid for. And when I didn't argue, didn't deny it the way she expected, when I just said go on, she kept talking, too confidently, until she referenced something I'd never shared with anyone, a detail from a fake report about a place I'd never been. The air in the room changed instantly, and everything I thought I knew about her, about us, shifted. Because in that moment, I realized she'd crossed a line you can't uncross. Violated trust in a way you can't repair. Sometimes relationships end because someone cheats. Sometimes they end because someone suspects cheating that never happened and destroys everything trying to prove it. This was the second kind, and somehow,